Good morning. Belated Father's Day to all the fathers that were building, take care of business, being dope fathers. Right? Anyway, so my thought of the day will be honoring history as we continue to push and move forward. So, as you guys all knew yesterday, we were able to enjoy a day off and observing of Juneteenth. And for a lot of folks, Juneteenth is a new holiday, a new celebration, a new acknowledgement, that a lot of folks are unfamiliar with. The first time I heard of Juneteenth was in 2012 when I was incarcerated in Arizona under California when they was, shipping us out. And on this particular day, they brought, hot links, barbecue chicken, like all of this barbecue, it's like good food by prison standards to myself. And I remember wondering, like, damn, what's going on? Because it was a regular day, like during the week. And I think somebody told me, like, oh, today's Juneteenth. And I'm thinking, like, what is Juneteenth? And the generic answer was, or the simplified answer was, oh, it was the day they freed the slaves. And I'm thinking, like, damn, like, I didn't know that, never heard of it. I'm pretty sure a lot of us growing up here in LA never heard of that, like had no idea. So, fast forward to 2020, as we all remember, man, the pandemic hit. There was a lot of crazy shit going on, lockdown orders. Fortunately, here at Homeboys, we had to go remote and hybrid, and there was a lot of changes. One thing that stood out that I'm pretty sure a lot of us paid attention to here, locally, but also on a national stage, was when George Floyd was killed, right, by the police, and like all the protests and the uprise and the things that ensued after that. And I know here at Homeboys, we had conversations and a lot of things to kind of, bring the community together, because obviously a lot of things that we were carrying and dealing with was a byproduct of the conditions of the community. Like, a lot of people went through a lot of different things because of the isolation and, people getting sick and dying, the uncertainty of everything. And so, Homeboys, even before the federal government, anointed and said that, moving forward, Juneteenth will be a holiday recognized here at Homeboy, which was pivotal. And then obviously the following year, Biden did the same thing. He enacted, and it all grew out of the cries for social justice and equality and the protests that would ensue that would help get us to this point. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that, with the yesterday and us having the time to kind of reflect and enjoy the day off, but also for a lot of us, in our communities who even today have generational effects of slavery, whether we acknowledge it or know it or not, it becomes important to, know history. And in place spaces in communities like Homeboys. And then even if you're also tapping into like educational research, like going to school, reading and studying, and a lot of things that we do in our own time, you're able to educate you. We're able to empower ourselves through education and be able to become very well informed on the significance of it, right? Like Juneteenth is just about freeing the slaves. It's also about, what it meant, for a culture of people that was being treated indignant and inhumane. And, we can look at history and we can say the same thing for other cultures of people. And so it's important in the spaces of places like Homeboys that we continue to build culture and community and honor each other and have like an affinity and respect for one another. And so with that, in closing, I wanted to share a piece that I kind of wrote, an op-ed, an opinion piece that I wrote, in regards to Juneteenth. And it's called The Significance of Juneteenth and Why It Matters. The observance of Juneteenth is imperative in that it reminds us of what we all come through historically and what we can achieve as a people. It's fundamental to have reverence of what Black America experienced in this new nation, and that we're able to break free of the bonds of slavery as a country. It's also an important reminder to remain cognizant of what it took to achieve this liberation. Here at Homeboy Industries, it allows our community belonging to one another to reflect on what more there is to do, as many of us still are not free. Whether through systematic practices of mass incarceration or being victim of the mental prison that many of us unfortunately occupy due to a multitude of societal conundrums. Juneteenth places Black people at the center of the conversation about freedom and what it should look like today, its meaning and its manifestation in this nation. As a global community predicated on the ideals of love, mutuality, and kinship for all, we should all regularly consider the evolution of the meaning of freedom as we look to those that needs ours and God's love the most. The marginalized, the ostracized, and the most demonized, regardless of race, color, and faith. Let this Juneteenth and subsequent other observances be a rallying call for all of us to think about the promotion of true liberation, as well as the nation and the rest of the world. Thank you.